right. What do you love about Cotton Cuts Retreats, Rebecca?
So, I love the fact that whether you're a beginner sewer or an advanced sewer, that there is something for everybody to learn or to do or to share their knowledge. Mm-hmm. I'm only 5 years quilting. My best friend got me into it. And I have learned so much just coming to this one retreat already with all of the fantastic people. So I can't wait to share what I've learned with other people. Mm-hmm. I have a quilting group or a sewing group. There's 3 of us outside of what Michelle and I do, and I can't wait to show them everything we've learned.
So LD, what do you like most about the Cotton Cuts Retreats?
I love everything about the Cotton Cut Retreat. I love the swag. It's the high end. I love the fabric. I love the clues. I love everything about it. It's amazing. 5 stars.
Thank you, LD. All right, now we're going to come over to Sister Vivian, who was sitting over here. What did she get wrong? What did she get right?
Oh, okay. Well, she got everything right. It's been a great cruise. The food has been fantastic. They even had an open bar the first night, and the pop-up shop. I love the pop-up shop. I can't keep myself away from there. And all the fabric is beautiful. The ambiance, I love the ambiance. The music, the playlist they had last night, and the mystery, which I know I got wrong, was the mystery play last night was great.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Vivian. All right, we're gonna come over to Cousin Lydia. We've got this fantastic 4 table over here. All right, Lydia, what do you like most about Cotton Cuts Retreats?
I think my cousins have said a lot, but I agree with all of that. But it's just really, it's a really nice environment. Great quilting camaraderie, and the clues have been really easy and instructions really easy to follow. Mm-hmm. I have bought way too much stuff, but it's all beautiful. And I'm just enjoying the whole experience.
Yay! All right, thank you, Lydia. All right, so we're gonna come over to the 3rd sister, Evelyn. All right, so what did they do well? What did they miss? What do you like about their retreat?
Ditto, as I said. So I think the people here have been so nice. We have such nice ambiance here. You and Jason have been fantastic. Yay. Welcoming, helpful, all the good stuff. Mm-hmm. The merchandise is lovely, all your fabric selections. And the clues are great. I'm really looking forward to the reveal.
Coming to Sonoma, I also like the fact that I learned how to use a straight stitch machine, which I haven't used for a while. Mm-hmm. Everything was cut like it normally is. Mm-hmm. The ironing board was there. I could leave it if I wanted to leave it. I didn't have to clean it up when I was all done. Mm-hmm. And I love the colors. And I love the people I've met.
Thank you, Lynn. Yay!
I have loved meeting new people. I have loved being in a whole room of Cotton Cuts love. And the food is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Yay, yay.
It's so much fun.
So in my free time, I love to read romantic fantasy books.
Are yours books smutty?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all I heard was big ripply man, but he's blue.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday morning, everybody. I didn't realize that I'm wearing the same sweatshirt I was wearing in that scene. I promise I did not film that podcast this morning. That was filmed a couple days ago. But as you saw from that little teaser, you're going to learn a whole bunch of things about Becca, Ian, and I when you listen to that podcast. We're going to have more about that in a second. Happy Thursday. It is a hot, hot, hot summer day here in Missouri. I don't know about you guys and where you are, but it's like 92 degrees here in St. Louis. And so I feel like we had a nice tease of what fall could be. And now we are back smack dab right in the middle of summer. So, it's one of those days, right? We're playing soccer with Lincoln and you don't know if you need to wear a hoodie, sweatshirt, a jacket, or a tank top, because literally that's the world of St. Louis. So happy Thursday. It is 9:30 in the morning. I'm getting up from the side. What's that? Sorry. Paula is all about just like, she's like, don't forget this, don't forget this, don't forget this. And I'm like, oh, Paula, it's like Thursday at 9:30 and it's really sunny and hot outside. Okay, we got to write this stuff down. All right. Good morning, everyone. I loved watching that recap video of all the fun that our retreat attendees had in Sonoma last week. It was incredible. And their energy was so vibrant. And as you saw in the video, there were 3 sisters and a cousin that were there. They were dancing, they were sewing. It was so much fun. We're going to have a lot more on retreats here in a minute. Don't forget to give StreamYard your permission so I can see everyone. I see people checking in from Oregon and Oklahoma, and Greta Sobel, who's her own persona. Good morning, everybody. And thank you guys for joining us. We've got a fantastic topic today. We're going to talk about Mystery Five-0, and we're going to show you the Aloha Quilts. This is kind of our first big reveal. We have not been able to show these broadly. As you guys know, we're part of a larger organization that's putting this on, and they didn't want us to show the final designs to everyone too soon. So this is the first time that you guys are going to get to see them on a broad platform outside of the Mystery Five-0 Facebook group. And so we're excited to share these quilts. And we've taken snippets and samplings of some quilts that we have seen come together that have inspired us. And we want to share all of those things with you. Plus, for joining me today, you guys are going to be the very, very first people to hear about island hopping, the next Mystery Five-0. I have a ton of details, including stay with me pillow kits that we're going to be doing for island hopping. So we've got a fantastic topic for you guys today. I'm excited. I am surrounded by a whole bunch of stuff, so I hope we get a chance to get to all of it before the end. But we're going to start as we always do. So see, this is what I have to deal with, folks. So Paula's over here. I'm like, don't forget to tell them about my quilt. Okay, yes. So you're going to want to stay to the end because we're going to see a fantastic creation from Paula. Okay, back to it. So we're going to start, as we always do, with questions submitted by you guys. She's still kind of, she's like, psst, 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 over here. All right. She had too much coffee this morning or something. I don't know. All right. So we're going to start as we always do with 2 questions submitted by you guys. They're here. I don't know what they are ahead of time. So we will learn and experience what they are all together. All right. So our first question comes to us from Liz Dubois from Dallas, Texas. Hey, Liz, I think you ask a lot of questions. I'm a big fan of that. I love the questions. I love asking them. Let's keep going with that. So Liz is from Dallas, Texas. Very, very hot in Texas, I imagine. She asks, I'm curious about Rosa. The Rosa Award, Chief Inspector Rosa, Rosa recommends, etc. What's her backstory or inspiration? Okay, so this is a fantastic question. And so this explains why Paula asked me to talk about Rosa this morning. So Rosa is actually the name of our logo. And I bet you if I look hard enough, I'll be able to find our logo here somewhere. Boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boop. I've got it. So it is on this sticker, on this quilt right here. So this is Rosa. So Rosa is our logo. And about 4 years ago, we decided to hold a contest where we revealed that Rosa had a name. We named our logo Rosa. And we put together a whole video. We had clues leading up to it. Who is Rosa? What is this personality? But for me, Rosa is the embodiment of everything we do at Cotton Cuts. It is brightly colored. It is multidimensional. It is lots of different designs. It is a continuous wheel. So nothing is more important than anything else. And the whole is stronger than the individual parts and pieces. Oh yeah, there's a quilt right behind me. Duh, I'm stupid. That's Rosa right there. And that's the actual quilt we used in the reveal when I was explaining the colors and about how, really embodies everything that Cotton Cuts believes in. And we named it Rosa because we love that it's, a little not kind of down the middle of the road. It's really meant to be inclusive and representative of everyone. And so Rosa is the personality and the kind of embodiment of Cotton Cuts that we use on a lot of our platforms. And so we give a Rosa Award every week in our Cotton Cuts Fabric Facebook group. And so this is a member of the community that goes above and beyond to help the community in that group, that answers a question for someone if someone's struggling with something, or encourages someone who's being discouraged or who is discouraged, excuse me. This is someone who just, helps fellow quilters out in a borderless fashion, really embodies everything that Rosa is and Cotton Cuts is. And so we like to reward that behavior. We like to keep that group super positive and super encouraging. And so that's why we give a weekly Rosa Award. Chief Inspector Rosa is kind of our internal character here. Whenever we send out emails, we like them to come from Chief Inspector Rosa. Chief Inspector Rosa is also in our Mystery Within a Mystery. She has attended a mysterious, elusive quilt show that she got a secret invitation to, and she's been solving all these very heinous murders that happen at a quilt show. I don't know about you guys, but if I was at a quilt show and there were 8 people murdered around me, I would be on the first boat out of there. She's hanging around to the end, and so she's going to solve the crime as to who is the quilter behind the mask that puts on this show. Think a la Knives Out. So we're going to have a great big reveal on that as well. And then Rosa recommends, right? And so when it came down to it, we had Mystery Five-0, and we wanted to give you guys guidance for what to do. And Rosa recommending felt kind of like, when we first had Windows, we had that little paper clip that would like bounce on the side that would give you suggestions. I think it was Clippy. Someone will correct me, but the little paper clip, we're like, what would it be like? Rosa is going to be in the little corner giving recommendations for how to complete the project. And so it's really the persona that we use throughout. It is the name of our logo. And so every now and then you'll see us like, oh, Rosa's Holiday Your Way. That's another one that's coming up. And so we like that it's the logo and the brand that is the Holiday Your Way. Much more on Holiday Your Way coming up in a couple weeks here. All right. I think I've covered everything, Rosa. And I think I'm going to get, Paula is going to post that reveal video into our groups as well, so you guys can see all the components and the things I was talking about and why we named the logo Rosa. So thank you so much for the question, Liz. I hope that answers all the things Rosa related. Our second question comes to us from Jessica Wright from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome. Nashville. We're going to hear about Nashville when we talk about retreats. So let's hold on to that. So Jessica asks, I've noticed that some of my quilt blocks end up slightly different sizes, even when I think I'm being careful with my seam allowances. What are your best tips for getting consistently accurate blocks? Is it my cutting, my sewing, or something else I am missing? Okay, this is a great question, Jessica. So for this question, I think the right answer is all of the above. So the inconsistencies in final block dimensions come from lots of different places. It comes from cutting. It comes from sewing. It comes from pressing. It comes from just fabric that is just not your friend that given day, right? There are a lot of variables that can contribute to differences in dimensions of finished blocks. And so when you're trying to come up with blocks that are consistent in dimension, my suggestion has always been to be consistent in everything you do. So make sure that you're using, I've even seen variability in sewing machines with the 1/4 inch presser foot. So if you're starting a project, use the same machine, use fabrics from the same collection, purchased at the same time. Even like different dye lots can have some differences in stretching and printing. Make sure that you're using the same iron. I don't have any steam in my iron at home. There's no water that ever touches that. So it's very, very hot, and it's meant to just press the seams. It is not meant to actually iron and stretch and distort. I think there's something that if you end up with fabrics and it's a concern to you that are slightly different sizes, one of the best pieces of advice I was given was to sew bigger and then be able to trim them down. That way you eliminate all the variation. When I am making flying geese and I am cutting the fabric and I'm using my own fabric and my own machine, not a pre-cut flying geese like Cotton Cuts does. But if I am doing all of my own work, I'm cutting it bigger and then trimming it down. And so then the trimming it down is going to give you the accurate piece, but it is wasteful on fabrics. I am going to admit you do get a lot of strings this way, but it does help when you have that flying geese and you got a little variability in top. When you take that all down, it does help with the overall finished dimension of your blocks. Now, with that said, everything that we have that's pre-cut at Cotton Cuts that I've ever used to work with, as long as you are consistent, everything will work out at the end. So I know we provide finished block dimensions because some people really, really need that, and that is fantastic. For me, I am always as consistent as possible. And so within a project. So if I am using the same sewing machine, the same presser foot, the same thread, all of that, as long as I am consistent, everything will work out in the end. And so I want to give the example of the Mystery 5-0 quilts that we're about to show you. And so we hung all 5 of them up. Each one was done by a different person in the shop. Each person's points matched up beautifully, and the finished design was exactly as intended. My quilt was about 3 inches longer and 3 inches wider than everyone else. And that's because my seam allowances were slightly less than some folks, and some folks had bigger seam allowances. But because we were all consistent throughout our project, all the points matched, all the blocks matched, and the design was held intact. My quilt is just a little bit bigger than everyone else's, and there are some quilts that are just a little bit smaller. And so that's the way it works. As long as you're consistent, don't get, hey, I'm in even different machines can lead to some variability. As long as you are consistent, it is going to work out in the end, especially if you're starting with die cut, pre-cut pieces. Okay, Jessica, I hope that answers that question for you. If you guys have any suggestions about how to minimize the variability in your quilts, definitely please post them in the comments on YouTube or on Facebook. If you have a question for us, please go to cottoncuts.com/live and submit it, and we will ask it on a future show. Now, before we jump into kind of shop updates, I want to highlight my lovely earrings that I am wearing today. So these earrings were made by Savannah here in the shop. So Savannah is the one in charge of mailing all of our cut off the bolt fabric orders. She made earrings for everyone, and these are mine. And because they are magenta, which is a Cotton Cuts color, I felt like wearing them today. So thank you, Savannah. Savannah was super sweet. She made earrings that were like perfect for everyone in the shop. She was so thoughtful, and thank you so much. Okay, so what's going on in the shop this week? So what is not going on in the shop? We're touching, I think, every project and every program we have has been touched this week. So Tim Holtz was the first thing to ship on Monday. We have shipped Tim Holtz Purple, which means there are 2 months left for Tim Holtz, guys. We are very close to the end of this project. So Tim Holtz has 2 more months to go. We have indigo and we have we've already shipped indigo. We have charcoal and we have multi coming. These are the last 2 months of Tim Holtz. And then we're going to have a reveal. I have been keeping up with my large blocks. As you guys know, I've been making those really, really large soft sawtooth star quilts. And so I am going to have mine ready to go for the reveal and show you what all 12 months of those large sawtooth blocks look like. It is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see this come together. We're going to have some wide back options for those of you that want to finish it as a quilt. Since it has been a choose your own adventure, add sashing, don't add sashing, take the block, add more blocks to it. Everyone has extra pieces. Since it's been so variable, we don't have guidance for what the finished quilt is going to be because it depends on you. It depends on how many rows and columns you want to have, if you want to take blocks out and make pillows, if you want to put them on the back, if you want to make extra parts and pieces. All of that's going to be variable. So we're going to have a wide back option, but I can't tell you what the finished dimension is going to be because everyone's quilt is going to be different. And that is part of what makes the program so magical. We are able to inspire each other. There is if you want to follow the pattern and do it with the sashing, we will have that block and that dimensions provided for you. But everyone's quilt is going to be different. So there are going to be 300 different quilts by the time we are all said and done with this. All right. So I have a question on Instagram that says, do you send 1 block a month? I'm new to all this. So I am going to send, I believe it's Rachel. So it's RachArt69. I'm going to send you to the website cottoncuts.com because we have a lot of block of the month programs. We have a lot of subscription boxes. And I think probably one of the easiest ways to answer that question is to go to cottoncuts.com. Plus also check out previous lives where we've talked about different programs. Today, you're going to learn everything about Mystery 5-0. We're going to get to that in a minute. But for everything else, definitely go to the website or join our Facebook group at Cotton Cuts Fabric. All right, then we also talked about, we also shipped Flyaway Clue 8 last week. Clue 8, we are so close to the end. I want to make sure everyone marks their calendar for November 7th at 1 o'clock Central Time. That is when we're going to show the reveal. We will have quilts here in the shop. We will have ambassadors that'll be joining me online and showing their quilts. It'll be fun. There'll be shenanigans. We're going to have giveaways. Don't forget to join us on November 7th. And then on November 8th, we'll have our sew along so we can have everyone get together, finish the quilt tops, and see Flyaway come together and see why we named it Flyaway. This is one of those designs that once we show you the finished design, you'll be able to see the connection between the name and the design. It is not called Flyaway because there's actual birds in the PMQ. It is called Flyaway because the design is mimicking of migrating birds. That is a hint for those of you that want to take a guess as to the final design. All right. We also ship Java and Chroma. Those batiks and that thread is out of our hands and they're inspiring you guys. We love that Java batik, those seasonally coordinated batiks that come together. And then also the threads. This month was, I believe, gray charcoal, black. And so those threads, if you want to keep those, you can use them to sew your Tim Holtz next month as well. Let's see here. Jason and I got back from our Sonoma retreat. Those are the lovely folks we heard from in the beginning. And after the retreat, we have 6 retreat dates coming in 2026. So we've already announced that we're going to be going to Denver in March and that we're going to be going to Savannah in May. But I want you guys to look at retreat dates coming for the second half of the year. We're going to go back to New Orleans. And New Orleans is going to be our one retreat we're going to do in New Orleans every year. It's going to be the last week in July, first week in August. We are looking at going to Nashville. We are going to host one here in St. Louis. And part of the shop hop is going to be to come by Cotton Cuts HQ and kind of see how the operations here work. Maybe we'll be able to have you guys be kind of die cutters for a day. We can get you guys the full Cotton Cuts immersive experience. Then we will also be going to a last sixth city, and we're debating between, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. We're debating between Austin, Las Vegas, Charlotte, and Salt Lake City. So which of those cities would you guys like us to go to? That is, that's the last one. That is going to be in November. We've got a lot of time till we get there, but those are the cities we're looking at. We would love to hear if you guys have a preference of those locations. All righty-o. And then kind of a last quick note on that. I was interviewed by Ian and Becca, two fantastic partners of Cotton Cuts, for their podcast. They've been doing a podcast for almost a year now. And they asked me to be a guest. And so I got to talk about a lot of things I don't normally get to talk about on the podcast with them. It was a lot of fun. That is going to drop next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. September 17th on all podcasting platforms, as well as on the Sew Off Kilter YouTube channel. And so that was a fun conversation. They always have a quilt. And so I got to have a quilt on my lap and show a quilt and talk about that. But they do a rapid fire question set at the end. So ask a question, rapid fire answer. And so my sewing notion that I am coveting is an open-ended question. So please watch the podcast and we can talk about it during our live on Thursday. All right. We are also doing, because we are absolutely bonkers nuts here, we're also doing our Clue 10s for Flyaway. Even though we're still on Clue 8 to you guys, we've already started cutting border kits and backing kits and Clue 10s, which are big amounts of fabric. We are also doing all of our makeup clues for Under the Sea. So Under the Sea, we close signups for Clue 3. We've always closed signups for the mystery at Clue 3 because we have to start preparing for the next one. So you guys have approximately 2 to 3 weeks to get signed up for Under the Sea before it goes into the vault forever, and you won't be able to sign up for it afterwards. So as you sign up, you're going to be charged for Clues 1, 2, and then soon 3 to keep you on track with everyone else. If you sign up today, you're not going to be months behind everyone else. We want to get you caught up and make sure that you can finish the project with everyone on time and on schedule. So if you are interested in joining Under the Sea, please do not wait. If you're doing Atlantis, you are going to be in lots of good company. There's a lot of people doing Atlantis and a lot of people doing Oasis. You got to move it to get those colorways, because I'm about to put a whole bunch to sold out today. So you want to get in before I do that. All right. And of course, we're working on Mystery 5-0. We're going to talk about island hopping a whole bunch here in just a second. All right. Lots and lots of die cutting. All right, so let's jump into our main topic today. So Mystery 5-0. I want to give everyone a recap of this program because it's a good time. We just finished our first design. It was the first time through for so many people. The first time you do anything, everyone always learns so much. And I want to recap the Mystery 5-0 program and then also look forward to island hopping and the fun that is about to start. So Mystery 5-0 is put on by a group of quilt shop owners that have been producing mystery quilts in their shops for many years. And so what they've done is they've gotten together and they've started to create these mystery quilt designs that they are then partnering with local quilt shops. They're partnering with shops like ours, so that way we can share these designs with more quilters. There's about, I think, 200 quilt shops that are participating in the program in total. And each quilt shop gets the design, but can pick whatever fabrics they want to work with it based upon their shop, the fabrics they have, and their customers. And so we saw this program. We loved it. We love that it has a mystery element. We like mystery quilts. We like that we had the flexibility to offer multiple colorways. That's one of those things with Cotton Cuts. It's not a one colorway fits everyone. It's not you don't have to join on and have one way of doing things. There is choice in everything. So we offer multiple colorways every time. We also like the fact that these were kits that we could die cut. These were quilt kits that could be used on our die cutters. We could still die cut everything, which we know our Cotton Cuts customers love. We also liked that it was a faster cycle than our traditional puzzle mystery quilt. So puzzle mystery quilts are 10-month programs. You guys know these are, you get one clue every month. It takes about a half hour, 45 minutes to sew together. Then another month a clue comes. And so we had many asks to have a shorter PMQ. So we found the Mystery 5-0 program. It is actually a 5-week program. You get clues 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are sewing sub-assemblies together. And then the 5th clue is the big reveal. And we just went through that cycle for Aloha. I think it was also a learning experience for many of our detectives that when we sew a puzzle mystery quilt, we're putting together puzzle pieces. So we've got strips, we've got rectangles. They're kind of sub-assemblies of a bigger part. For the Mystery 5-0 program, each clue is sewing the same unit. So we sewed a whole bunch of half square triangles and squares together. We sewed a whole bunch of 4 patches together. They were not 4 patches. There was a strip and 2 squares. But for example, you sew a whole bunch of a single subassembly together for clue, then you set it aside. Then you sew another subassembly, like the same shape, times, in this case, 48 for Aloha, and you set it aside. And then the final assembly is taking one of these pieces to one of these pieces to make a block, and then bam, you have a finished design. And so in those situations, right, it was a little different than a PMQ, but it still had the same core Cotton Cuts elements. There were multiple colorways, everything was pre-cut, and it still had the element of surprise. We had people guessing the final design up until the big reveal, and nobody got it, which makes my heart happy. A, I love that you guys are trying to figure it out, and B, I love that it was still mysterious enough that it kept you guys guessing till the very end. That is what makes it really, really, really fun. Let's see here. It's also part of the Mystery 5-0 program is also part of, there's a mystery within a mystery. And so we introduced a character, Lara Langston. And so she was introduced several months ago with our first mini. She is a detective. She is on her own journey of self-discovery. And as we release each one of these clues, there is a snippet of a video that is dropped with it. So you can watch these videos and feel like you're getting your show, you're kind of binge watching her journey and her story. I love that it kind of has this underlying story that's going to continue the full year. It's going to go through all the mysteries that we do. So you have to stay tuned and watch each episode. We have all those in a central location. In case you do happen to miss a week, or if you're like me and you want to binge them and watch them all at once, you can go to the centralized location on our YouTube channel and get all of those videos together. Now, one of the things that we think is really cool with the Mystery 5-0 is there's 4 quilts in a year. So it comes out each quarter. And then if you participate in all 4, so if you participate in all 4 of the mysteries this year, there's a bonus 5th mystery that is unlocked. And so that's only available if you participate in all 4 throughout the year. There'll be a 5th mystery that you can participate in, and you can join along in the fun with that mystery. It is going to be smaller, but it is a bonus 5th quilt that you're allowed to participate in because you did all 4 of the quarters. So I love that there's so many fun, cool little nuances, little Easter eggs with this program. It is a lot of fun. All right, let's keep going. We also, because we're doing a whole bunch of stuff new, we decided to also create something called a Saturday social with Mystery 5-0. So the clues all drop on Wednesdays. Well, I don't know about you guys, but we're all super busy on a Wednesday and we don't have enough time to like drop and stop work and go sit and sew together. So we created what's called a Saturday social. And so this is an opportunity in our Facebook group to have a virtual sew along where we have questions and prompts and prizes and people post progress and ask questions. And you know that there is a group of quilters that's all gathering on Facebook at the same time. It's not a Zoom, so we don't have to have you logged into a Zoom and deal with the camera and all the audio and, you know, be in a large group and not feel like you can equally participate. So we created a Saturday social in the Facebook group. I love this. It took us a little bit to figure it out and how it's going to work and why there wasn't a Zoom link or a video chat link. But you guys are engaging so well in that, and people ask questions, there are answers, and you're showing progress and their support. And I kind of like all the fun prompts we're giving. I am learning so much about you guys with the, hey, come up with an acronym for your name that's quilting related. It is so much fun. 2 truths and a lie. We have a lot of fun on those Saturday socials, and I think that's something we're going to keep doing because it is a good way to build community, and it also gets me to Facebook and my sewing machine Saturday after a clue so I can stay on track and make sure we finish these quilts, which I did. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a lot of time, but I finished the Mystery 5-0 kit in time for the reveal. And it was because these Saturday socials held me accountable and kept me coming back to make sure I didn't get off track. All right, so let's talk about the first quarterly Mystery 5-0. It was called Aloha. So Mystery 5-0 harkens back to the Hawaii 5-0. And so the first quilt was called Aloha. And For Aloha, we had a shop your stash option, and we also had the Cotton Cuts pre-cut kits option. So the pre-cut kits had over 1,000 pieces we had to cut that we lovingly cut for you guys and shipped out to you. There were 5 different colorways that were put together, and there were 2 different border options. There was a lot of choice in Aloha. We're going to talk about how island hopping is going to be a little different, but we had 5 different colorways, 2 different border options, and then we had a shop your stash option, which yielded the same quilt through a different path because you're pulling fabric off your shelf and you're cutting it. And so it's sewn a little differently than the die cut parts and pieces, because the die cut parts and pieces, you're just sitting and stitching. There's no supplemental cutting that comes afterwards. We revealed that in our Mystery Five-0 Cotton Cuts group last week. There was a quick video because I was in Sonoma for the retreat. If you missed it, hop on over to that group and definitely join. You can watch the video and hear some background and get all 5 quilts revealed in real time. They were all sewn by my team. We're about to see them here in a minute. Interestingly enough, all 5 of us chose the same layout and the same border, but so we're going to show you some ways people have deviated from and taken the choose your own adventure version of this to heart. We love reveals because you guys are putting in all this time. And since it's a mystery, you don't know what pattern you're making. It's not like you start with the end in mind. Like I have a pattern and I know I'm going to make this, so it keeps me motivated. You are putting your faith into the sewing process. And I am so happy it paid off. This design is incredible. It is so beautiful. There's so much to do with it. It is awesome. And so let's see here. Why did I put, oh yeah, there's 2 layouts, 2 borders for that. So let's talk about the big reveal. And so I believe we're going to do this with photos. I do have some of the quilts here. Some of the quilts we took with us to Sonoma. They're still on their way back. But we're going to show, here it is again, the tickle in my throat. I swear it must be the cut fabric. What's that? I've got my water. So we're going to talk about we're going to show you the reveals of the quilts. So we're going to start first with the Cotton Cuts made quilts. And so the colorway names were all Hawaiian floral and themed. And so for those of you that completed it, you know that there were flowers in the final designs. We actually made petals and we made flowers. So when we chose Hawaiian floral as the name, now you guys know why, because it was actually a florally designed quilt. So let's start with the first colorway. So Ihi Rainbow. And trust me, Dominic and I had to learn how to pronounce all these names. So this is Ihi Rainbow. This is Tula Pink's fabrics, and we chose 18 of her greatest hits fabrics. I made this quilt. I am very proud of this quilt, you guys. I sat down and I was sewing this quilt and I'm like, this is awesome. I picked these colorways. It makes me so happy to see them come together. And they were pre-cut, so I could just sit and stitch, sit and stitch, sit and stitch. This design, I kind of held true to the Rosa recommends, but then when it got to the final design, I deviated. And I was like, I want a little more yellow over here, a little bit more orange over here, a little bit more purple, a little bit more blue. But this one I stitched together, and it just makes me so happy. And I did the pieced border on this. So there are 2 different border options. There's the pieced border, which you can see, which is a bunch of squares that kind of alternate, or there's a solid strip border. We're going to look at strip borders when we look at other photos that you guys have submitted online, but this is mine. I'm so happy with it. It's going to go to my niece. She is 3 years old. She's going to love these colors. Once it's done, it's going to be her Christmas gift. I am very happy I had the opportunity to make this. All right, so let's go to our next one. So our next one is Kauwela. So Kauwela is a Cafe mystery. This one, you guys jumped all over this one. This one flew off the shelves really darn fast. This one, you guys jumped on. Kauwela is blues and purples. It's very, very, very cool in color palette. And Cafe, as we discovered at the retreat last week, Cafe is really hard to take off your shelf, cut, and stitch. And so, we really wanted to make it something that was really cool for you guys, to get you out of that, I can't cut into Cafe, I can't stitch Cafe. And so we did the Kauwela. You guys can see these images in Facebook and on YouTube. On Instagram, you guys are going to have to watch the videos there. We also have pictures posted everywhere of these guys as well. So we have the Cafe Kauwela. And again, it's a piece border. This one was sewn by Savannah on my team. All right, so next up, we have Kona Eclipse. So this was done with an Andover collection called Nevermore. This is secretly my favorite of all of them. So I loved the Halloween. I loved that it wasn't like a novelty, like a kid kind of Halloween. I loved that it had the grays and the blacks and the oranges with that almond background. This was sewn by Dawn on my team, and she was super hesitant. She's like, Halloween, I don't really know. Secretly my favorite. She ended up loving it. It has ravens in it, which you can't really see because it's more just a orange and a black, and it is an awesome kit. She enjoyed putting it together. Super secret, she saw one of the quilts posted into the Facebook group, and I have a feeling she's going to take this apart and rechange the layout because she was motivated and inspired by something that someone put out. And so that is what the Kona Eclipse is. Next up, we have Kawaii Blooms, which is done in Moda's Grunge. And so this quilt, it's just, I mean, there's not really much I can say. It's really, really cool. It's got this like beautiful rainbow palette to it. It has the colors that kind of flow together. In this case, so this was done by Robin. Yes, this was done by Robin on my team. And so she really kind of held to the Rosa recommends when it came to lights and darks. And so you can see like she got to pick which petals make different flowers, which fabrics go together. And again, we all have to pick the same layout. We all pick the same border. I promise you there are options here that we're going to see of people that have done it differently. Robin is a relatively new-ish quilter. She's only been quilting for a couple of years now. And so you can see she was able to make this quilt. And then there's Dawn and I that have been quilting for 20, 30, 40 years. And so it's just, this is a project that appeals to so many people, to so many different skill levels. Our last one was made by Cheryl. If you call into the shop, chances are you've spoken to Cheryl. Cheryl answers the phone quite frequently. And so Cheryl did the hibiscus pop. That's the one word I can't pronounce today, hibiscus pop. And so this was done with batiks. Cheryl loves batiks and she likes bright batiks. And so this was right in Cheryl's sweet spot. She had a lot of fun making this. I've made a PMQ with batiks recently. They press so well. They hold their shape so well. It was a lot of fun for her to do this. And you can see it's super bright against a very light background. And it was a lot of fun to make. I think Cheryl might have been the first one done. Was Cheryl the first one done? Maybe Cheryl was the first one done. So yeah, she loved it, went into it. She was at a retreat and was able to get it all done. The team did a fantastic job stitching these together. I'm so thankful to all of them for piecing all of those for us. And so, you know, I love that you guys are loving this. As we release the design, one of the things that was important for me for Cotton Cuts was to make sure that you guys had creative freedom to be able to change the design as you wish. I know many, 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 many times when we're participating in a block of the month with a quilt shop, it has to be done a certain way. And you feel like you're just assembling. You're just stitching to the other vision. We had a situation at the retreat last week where someone mixed up some parts and pieces. And she was like, but it's not your design. I'm like, it's not my design. It's your quilt. If you like the mix up and you like that it's created a different design than intended, then you keep it. And that's why whenever we write the directions for our pre-cuts, especially for Mystery 5-0, we give you kind of guidance, but we let it be a choose your own adventure. And we always want it to be that these are your guys' quilts. It does not have to be one way for everybody. And so we wanted to make sure that you guys had that creative freedom to be able to create your own quilts. And so in the week since we announced the live, we've had a lot of quilts posted in the Facebook group. And so I wanted to show you guys different layouts and different design decisions that the quilters have made. And I'm not sharing this as like these people did it wrong. These people took the base design and the base ingredients that Cotton Cuts gave them, and they baked their own cake. They finished their quilt their own way, and that makes me happy. And like I said, these are inspiring to our team, and one of the quilts is probably going to be redone based upon what you guys did. And that is what I'm here for, and that's what I want to see a ton more of. So Paula, let's go ahead and take a look at the first set of quilts that have been submitted in the Facebook group. Okay, so this one is the Nevermore design. It is the Kona Eclipse. And for this one, the quilter actually moved the center of the image off to the side, and now it radiates out in an upward, like this is, we all saw this one, and the text messages and the instant messages were flying because this blew our socks off. This was so beautifully done. This was just a different creative interpretation of the same block. We all made the same blocks, you guys. And because of that, this is just a visually different, stunning quilt. We loved this. And like I said, one of the quilts is probably going to get taken apart and done this way as just a catalyst for something new and creative and something that's really, truly your own. All right, Paul, let's take a look at the next one. All right, so we've got this one, which is, again, this person, I believe this one was first and then the Kona Eclipse came second. But the idea of off-centering the center of the flower and making it radiate outwards, you guys, like, this is so much fun. And we were just, like, our jaws were on the ground. Like, why didn't we think of this? But this was super inspiring to us as well. Paul, let's take a look at the next one. If you want to see these quilts, you have to get into the Mystery Five-0 Cotton Cuts group. So then this one, we wanted to show you guys because it has the second layout per the pattern where it has kind of 6 middle flowers and then flowers that radiate around the outside. And this one also has the solid border. However, because people are doing their own things and we are here for it, there's actually leftover parts and pieces that were put as cornerstones. And so this quilter, I think she just posted this maybe yesterday or the day before. So she took leftover pieces from the middle, which we sent leftover pieces so you guys would have them if you needed them. And she created little 4 patches and created her own cornerstones to finish this quilt, rather than just having the solid continuous border. And I love it. I love seeing that creative use of the fabrics that were left over. And I like seeing this alternate layout. She did an absolutely fantastic job with this Kauwela. And we have a couple more. All right, so this one is the grunge. So this one's the kawaii blooms. And so this one shows, again, the second layout. We all did that center bloom that radiates out. This one has the 6 fully formed flowers with a border around the outside and a solid border to finish it. This was done really, really well. I like that the flowers, I like the oranges and the oranges. I think that's actually how we had it in the final design, and they look super great together. All right, let's take a look at the next one, Paula. I think we only have 1 or 2 more, maybe. Okay, so then this one is, again, this is a different interpretation of the polka pop. And, oh, I see what this one is. So this is on, the pattern was written such that you can see those yellow squares and the green squares. So the pattern was originally written such that all the yellow squares, all those yellow contrast would be towards the center, and all the green would be on the outside. And so when we presented this as a potential layout option, we said the pattern that we're showing has this and this, but do not feel, excuse me, compelled to do that. Lay out the contrast square so it makes the most sense to you. And so in this one, the quilter actually aligned all the yellow contrast in a cross fashion and then all the green radiating off from the center. I love this. I saw this and I was like, darn, I wish I would have done that, because I had all of them in the perimeter and all the ones in the center. But I really do like how it kind of created different quadrants in the finished quilt just by changing. Again, we all made the same blocks and we're all making very different quilts that have very different visual effects. And so this one was a lot of fun. I do appreciate the interpretation of the contrast fabric placement to get to this finished design. All right. Paula, is that our last one? Okay, so what we are going to show next. So everyone knows that there's this like ghost person that lives off the side over here, Paula, who's always like, psst, hey, psst. And she's always telling me, right? So Paula, before she started working here, she was crafty. She could sew. And so she has been gradually getting sucked into the vortex of quilting and learning as she goes. And so she is a huge fan of Ruby Star Society. It's one of these fabrics, anytime our sales rep comes in and they have Ruby Star in their bag, it's like a moth to the flame. Like, I feel like it's like she just knows. She has this sixth sense that Ruby Star is in the house. And so she comes over and she wants to see all the latest and greatest Ruby Star. And so there was a collection that we had in the shop that she has been just, I think, daily or weekly going by and just petting and ogling. I mean, to be clear, we all have those fabrics that we're just motivated by and we want to see and just bring us joy. Well, there was a Ruby Star collection that she really, really liked. And so she has been looking at it. And when we had the shop your stash option, she was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to make the Aloha design, which she knew about because she saw it early on. And she was going to make it in a shop your stash fashion. She was going to follow the instructions just like you guys did for the shopping your stash. And so she kept up with you guys. She was on the clue drops and she was sewing it on Saturday. Clue drops and she was sewing it on Saturday. And so she has her quilt and she wants to share a picture of how it's laid out It's not pieced together yet. She's like, it's probably just going to stay laid out for a while, but she made it really far on her first really large quilt. And so we are going to share that with you guys here for her. There it is. And so she has created her own design here. There's been multiple text messages. Yes. So she's like whispering, she's like, "Psst, don't forget to tell him I did this. Psst, don't forget to tell him I did this." So she actually, there were many text messages about this. And hey, how do I lay it out? What do I put in the center? What do I put in the outside? How do I distribute the colors? So Paula is a very logical, linear thinker. I love this. Like, she is very balanced and symmetric. And so she decided that she wanted to take those contrast squares. And so I know I said the original design had one contrast on the outside, one in the middle. She decided to alternate it. And so they're in radiating waves coming out from the middle and alternating her contrast squares to get to where she loves this super balanced design. This is all Ruby Star fabrics. Again, all these flower petals. It is bonkers how incredibly awesome this quilt came together for her as a first-time quilter and shopping her stash. She did a fantastic job. Paula, you did awesome. Okay. That's all the Aloha quilts we have. All right. She wanted to make sure that she's like, don't show me. Just let me show my quilt. So, we're again super proud of her for getting her quilt to that stage. That is something that we're celebrating the journey and the process and her fabric choice. It was so much fun to help her come up with contrast and background. I mean, that's kind of what we do here. We're a super supportive community. And so I'm going to ask her to post that in the group so you guys can see it and give her applause and camaraderie as well. All right. And with all of those quilts, we do have a few extra quilts left over from Aloha. So if there's a colorway you like, definitely go in and grab it. We are completely out of the Kauwela and we are completely out of the Ihi Rainbow. Those guys are gone. But if you liked the grunge, if you liked the batik, or if you liked the Nevermore, and even in the alternate layouts, which I love and appreciate, definitely head to the website. You'll be given access to our evidence locker where you'll be able to get all the clues, all the helpful videos that we made, and you'll get access to Shop Your Stash. It's a 2-for-1. When you sign up and get one of our kits, you get our instructions and you get the Shop Your Stash. So that way you can make these quilts going forward forever. All right, now let's talk about island hopping. So much excitement about Aloha. I'm so excited that with the finished design and how it came out. Now we get to talk about island hopping. So is the next quarterly mystery. It will start on sale on October 1st. And this one is going to be different for us because the design is very different than Aloha. So this is not going to be one where you're like, oh, it's going to be a block and it's going to be 8-inch square and it's going to be petals and we're going to make them log cabin style. This is so completely different from Aloha. First difference, it only has 4 fabrics in it. So I know that when you're looking at these other Mystery 5-0 shops, there is the Mystery 5-0 way of doing things. And for island hopping, most shops are going to have 5 fabrics. When we were designing this up and we were putting different fabrics in place, we are simplifying this design for you guys on a couple different fronts. So the first thing is instead of 5 fabrics, we're only going to do 4. That 5th fabric didn't add very much to the final design and actually complicated the process. And we wanted to simplify it just like we did for Aloha. That had 32 fabrics in it. We simplified it down to 16. In this case, instead of 5, we're going to go 4. So I know you're going to see other shops that have 5 fabrics. Guys, we're going to do it in 4 because it doesn't add a lot to have that 5th fabric. This design is super tricky. And so in the 2 different layouts that were offered by Mystery 5-0, one of them included a sashing with cornerstones that was cut 1 1/4 inches wide. We are going to be dropping that from Cotton Cuts. So when you get to the kits from the other shops, you're going to see some that have these super teeny tiny narrow sashings with cornerstones. We're going to drop that from the Cotton Cuts pre-cut kits, as well as from all of our cut off the bolt, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That's really hard, guys. It's hard for us to die cut that. It is also hard for that to be sewn consistently. And so we're going to create alternate designs that don't include that. So that way the finished quilt is the same dimensions for both. With that sashing, we start getting into 3/8 inches of finished designs. We don't want to do any of that. So we're going to simplify it down as well, and we will not be including that sashing. However, we're going to include different finished layouts to give you guys inspiration. Just like Aloha, there's going to be a couple of Rosa recommends, but you guys are going to have the building blocks to be able to make a different quilt based upon it. Now, since it is a tricky design, we have been doing a lot of work to make sure we put the right fabrics in the right place. This is one of these things that you're not going to have a choose your lights, choose your darks. It is going to be, this is fabric 1, this is fabric 2, fabric 3, and fabric 4. And we have put a lot of work into curating where those go in the finished design to make sure that it is as awesome as possible for you guys when you finish. So there's been a lot of careful curation that's gone into this. Now, there's going to be way more than 5 designs. And so I want to emphasize this. And if you guys are watching this, you guys are the first to know. We're going to have a lot smaller number of kits per colorway. So there are going to be some colorways that are only going to have 10 kits available. There are some that are going to have 25, some that might have 30, but it is a lot fewer kits. Because it is so complicated to do this, we're actually being more careful in the volumes and the fabrics we're selecting for it. And so when you, and some of them will have less than 5 kits. So when you see the colorways, which should be on the website next week, make sure that you get in and mark your calendars for the dates when the signups go, because if it has only 5 kits and it's something you really like, you're going to want to get in there and get it quickly, because these will go really, really, really fast. Now on that, we're going to do exactly what we did with Aloha. And so we are going to have an option. It's on the website right now. If you go to our Mystery Five-0 site, on the bottom, you can enter your email. And by doing that, you are going to get 2 hours early access to sign up. I am going to strongly encourage you, if you've not done that already, to definitely do that, because the 2 hours early access will actually give you an opportunity to get it, especially for those ones where we have only 5 kits available. Now, everything with Island Hopping is a seasonally themed fabric collection. So I want to talk about, it's not necessarily like a big, like capitalized holiday. So we will have a Valentine's, we will have a Halloween, we are going to have a Christmas, but we also do have a spring, and we will have some winter, and we will have some fall. So it is seasonal, but it is not all seasonal like a holiday, like on the nose capital letter. And it also, we have very minimal of the novelty. So I know that, you know, when you think of Christmas print, we think of like poinsettias, and we think of Halloween, we think of big pumpkins. Big motifs don't work well on this design. So we're going to find some, again, careful curation. We have spent a ridiculous number of hours making sure we get the right fabrics in the right place to make really beautiful quilts for you guys. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you know, you're taking a look. If you choose to shop your stash, which we will definitely have for Island Hopping, or if you choose to shop from another shop, be sure that you're mindful that large scale motifs are not going to work for this design. You're going to want something that's definitely more smaller scale. I know last week when I was in Sonoma and we did our live, I had an opportunity to hear from quilters who really love pillow kits. And so they want to make pillowcase kits. Let's start there. So with Island Hopping, we're going to try a new way to make pillowcase kits. So when you buy a wide back, a coordinating wide back for your finished design, you will also receive parts, pieces, and instructions to create 2 pillowcases that have a cuff and that have an accent sashing on it. So there will be enough fabric left over from your wide back to be able to make 2 pillowcases with a coordinating cuff and a coordinating sash. So we've been hearing a lot about you guys wanting to be able to make pillowcases to match your quilt tops. Well, we are testing it here with Island Hopping. And if this goes well, this is something we will do for ongoing mysteries, but we wanted to test it here with Island Hopping. So when you see that, if you do buy the wide back from us, you will also get those 2 pillowcases and the fabric you need to make 2 coordinating pillowcases to go with your quilt. All right, now I know I've talked about this a little bit on previous shows, but we're also going to have curated cut from the bolts. So this is something like a traditional quilt shop would have, where you do 1/4 yard of this, 3/4 of a yard of this, 4 yards of this, and we make a kit. So those are really where we're going to have just a small number, where we've got some really cute holiday and seasonal print that makes a beautiful quilt top, but we don't have enough to die cut kits for everyone. With those kits, we're going to be selling a Creative Grids ruler that you need to be able to make the half rectangle triangles that are sewn into this kit. So it'll be the fabric you need. It'll be a Creative Grids ruler that you need to complete the project, and you'll be able to participate along with everyone else in the mystery program. Let's see here. Seasonal themes are going to be super fun. This timing is actually super on trend with where we are going to be in the season. So it's going to go on sale October 1st. That's when we're going to start shipping. It will ship kind of the first week-ish, 2-ish of October. The sewing will start November, I believe it is 5th. I know it's in here in front of me, but I probably missed it. So the sewing will start November 5th. And it'll be done just after Thanksgiving. So if you are looking for a holiday gift quilt, this is a perfect thing to kind of squeeze in and make sure that you have the bandwidth to get done in time for a Christmas gift. Now, you're going to need to probably reserve time with your long armor. Or perhaps this could be a Christmas gift next year, no judgment. Or perhaps it's a New Year's gift. You know, it's all those things. All right. Let's see here. And so don't forget, island hopping is only our second quarterly mystery of our annual mystery program. All right. We're going to have a lot more on those colorways on the website next week. I know that I've talked about pricing because a lot of things are going up in price due to tariffs and economic indicators and all the things that we can't control. The pricing will go up slightly for island hopping, and it is going to be $175 per kit as opposed to $150 for Aloha. We simply have to put things up. All of our raw materials are going up in price. All the fabric's going up in price. Everything is going up in price. And so we've tried to hold that as long as we can. I'm hopeful that this is something that does not last for very long, but we do have to increase the price on Highland hopping. So when you see those kits, just know it's going to be $175 per kit. Everything will be pre-cut. You'll have all the fabrics you need. You'll have some extra parts and pieces, and you're going to end up with a beautiful quilt top at the end of November, beginning of December. All right. I think that is it for me, gang. I've talked long enough about these awesome programs. I hope, please continue to ask questions, give suggestions, give feedback. Pop on over to the groups and ask any questions that you guys might have on Facebook. We are always more than happy to help. We're going to end this show as we do every show. So find this video wherever you're watching us, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and answer the question. To just answer whatever you feel like answering this question. We'll pick one lucky winner to win a $25 gift card to our shop. And that is, if you could take a quilting retreat in any spot, where would you go and why? And so I'm going to ask you guys to interpret this like what sort of environment. So would you do lakeside? Would you do beach? Would you do a city? Would you do a small town that's on a main street? Would you do mountains? Where would you prefer to retreat to go on a quilting retreat? So for me, I'm going to answer this, right? Do you want to go internationally? Do you want to fly somewhere? Do you want to drive somewhere? For me, I would love to take a retreat on a lakeside cabin. I just like the idea of it's very homey to like wake up and have your coffee and your quilt on the little wraparound porch over the lake and see just the morning come. That's me. I would love to do a cabin on a lake. That would be my ideal quilting location. But I do get the draw of wanting to quilt in a city where if you want to take a break, you can just hop out and go to the Starbucks that's 2 doors down, or you can just hop across the street and, you know, go shopping for whatever else you might need. So please tell us, wherever you find this video, what sort of dream location would you have a quilting retreat in? And we'll pick one lucky person to a $25 gift certificate. All right. That is it for me, gang. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. I hope the weather is beautiful wherever you are. I hope you guys get tons of sewing in this weekend, and we will see you guys next week for another super fantastic, exciting show. If you have suggestions for what you guys want to hear, if you want to learn something new, pop those in the comments, and we will go through them, and we will come up with a fantastic show for you guys. That is all for me. I hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you soon. Bye now. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new, fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.